Here I am on the beautiful, beautiful mountain. This is where I live. Not on the mountain, but this is technically my back garden, which is pretty cool. And I wanted to speak to you today about being a professional. When you're young, you feel lost. You feel like you could be everything and nothing all at once. You know, you're told that you could be an astronaut, you could be a pirate, you could be a athlete or a soccer player, an actor. But as you get older and older, you slowly start picking up skills and experiences that you place together in building blocks. And those building blocks eventually result in you following a certain path. As an example, let's take my brother. When he was in high school, he loved acting, he loved film, he loved editing. So he went to go study editing. He went to work on freelance projects and advertisements and trailers and films. And after studying, he worked at an editing house for about a year. From there, he started working with influencers and producers, and now he leads production for a very, very large finance channel. And when you go back in time, you see this golden thread that leads you to who you become. And I was having this conversation with someone who was in their 30s, and he shared with me a similar story. You know, he studied engineering and he studied sound and he got into production and he started working for some of these big stages, 200,000 people, where he was leading the stage. And he then started going into the world of live streaming and crypto and trading and AI and working with these big media companies and these big traders with millions of followers and helping them with content. And if I think about myself, I've always loved business. I've always loved entrepreneurship. But in my heart of hearts, it's marketing. It's an equation of how do I get the right message in front of the right person at the right time? How do I solve a problem in another person's life with an ad, with a product, with a service? And my love for marketing started with psychology, a love for psychology, a love for understanding myself and understanding people and how they think. And that love developed, and I went to go study for a year until I realized that it was more about politics than about psychology. So I dropped out. I self-studied. I took all of my college money and poured it into launching a business, running ads, losing money, losing time, losing sleep, and being stressed. And I took, 3, 4, 5 years of my life, well, about 3.5 years, of pouring time and effort and energy into running ads and failing, and running ads and failing, and running ads and failing. And I took each rejection as if it was me not being skilled enough to get to the next level. And now I'm getting thousands of applications a month. My business is successful. We're doing big numbers, numbers that I'm proud of. I'm not going to reveal them publicly. Um, but we're doing over six figures dollars annually, and it all came from getting a degree in marketing in the real world, in experience. And as people, as humans, we don't like uncertainty, we don't like change, we don't like things being unpredictable. We like things being very predictable, right? It's the reason why you can scroll on Instagram for hours, or you're addicted to YouTube or Netflix or the news, because you get hit with this predictable wave of, okay, I know what I'm going to get when I swipe up. There's a little bit of risk, a little bit of reward, but not enough to make you feel uncomfortable. And where I'm going with this is that if I think about my journey, it took me about 3.5 years to start making a big income online for myself without a degree. But those 3.5 years cost me time, and I probably spent, you know, over 10, 15, $20,000 on learning the skill before it actually started paying off. So if you think about almost any skill as getting a degree, you're going to spend time, you're going to spend money. and you're going to spend 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but then your earning potential just skyrockets afterwards. Think about any skill in your life as getting a degree. If you want to learn trading, there's no degree for trading, but you could learn trading. You could spend money trading. You could spend time trading. You could go on YouTube. If you want to learn how to build a Shopify store, if you want to learn how to run ads, if you want to learn photography, if you want to learn jiu-jitsu, if you want to learn hunting with a bow, you could learn anything. You could become a professional at anything. You could become great at anything, but it's going to cost you time and it's going to cost you money. That you cannot escape. And people think that in order to make it in life, you need degrees. You need this piece of paper. You need this accreditation. But what I'm telling you is that you need skills, because skills are to a degree what gold is to fiat. Fiat money is just a piece of paper. The reason that that has value is because it's backed by commodities, the same way that an accreditation is backed by a skill. So what I'm saying is that building skills is like stacking gold instead of stacking paper. And if you think through a biblical context, I'm not sure if you're religious or if you follow Christ or the Bible, right? I personally uh, follow Christ and the Bible. But in the book of Proverbs, King Solomon, one of the greatest kings to ever live, one of the wealthiest and wisest kings, he was kind of like a counselor to all of the kings and queens in the Middle East during his time. And he had this entire book that was just reflections and wisdom. And in that book, he speaks countlessly about diamonds and rubies and gold and silver and how wisdom is greater than all of those. And I feel like when I was younger, I felt so anxious about resources and about degrees and about proving myself and becoming something. But when you truly build a skill that is valuable to other people, you will never worry about money ever again in your life. My grandfather, he runs a small business, 1 or 2 employees, and he makes really good money. He's doing pretty good for himself. And he fixes garage door motors. So he's got a network of houses in his area. And whenever there's a power outage or a motor failure, whatever it is, he'll do a complex, he'll do a hotel, he'll do a restaurant, he'll do a house. And he's got this network just on his phone of people who know him. They're like, you're the guy, because he has a skill to actually offer them. So it's about building a skill and then building trust around that skill with an audience of people. And in his case, his audience of people are homeowners. So think to yourself, sit down, think to yourself, what am I good at? What do I enjoy? What can I do for other people? What can I offer other people? And then how do I get good at that offer and that product, that service? And then how do I get that product and service in front of more people? And it really is that simple. It really, really, really is that simple about creating that statement and then tweaking and doing and tweaking and doing and tweaking and doing and taking action. And that alone, that equation will get you as far as you want to go in life. Thank you so much for watching this video. You take care of yourself. This was just a bit of insights that I wanted to share with you. It's been a record month in March for my business. We did very, very well. We closed 17 deals, and then we also have 2 retainers that came through. So 17 fresh deals, 2 retainers because we mostly work on commission. It was a record month. I got to enjoy such a beautiful weekend away with my family over Easter, and now we're entering the new week and we are hitting it hard. Thank you so much, and bye for now.